Yeah, hi. So welcome to the session. And so in my previous session, I had discussed about the pandas libraries, and I hope that might have been cleared. Like, still, if you have any doubts, so you can put in comment section. And most importantly, if you haven't subscribed my channel, kindly subscribe and like my video, like or dislike, whatever you. If you liked, then then uh, then kindly subscribe my video. And so based on my previous session, I was just discussing about um, data frames, right? So I hope it might have got clear. Still, if you have any doubt, so again, let me quick recap of where I left, right? Like how do we specify the data frame? So these are the data frames. Like how does it work, right? So so I need to go up first, like where data frame first, where data frame, the entire data frame, where is the entire data frame? I need to jump this out. First I need to put the data frame here. If I try even on the top only, I need to execute where I have specified the data frame, dfn, and where the series was populated, data frame, and where is this score 6? I need to start from the top, right? Yeah, data frames. So here is the one, like I started with the data frame. Let me start executing everything because I started firstly. So let me npo there again on the top. I need to where I specified the variables, right? So again, I need to start from the top. Yes. I- So I have, uh, added, and just to avoid any confusion, now I go to data frame. Not needed, but here now it should not show error. So it has given the series, whatever the data frame we have put. It has given the data frame based on the condition what we have given. And what are the scores or whatever the column we want to fetch based on that, and the data frame it has provided. And well, let's quickly, and multiple columns, like if you want to add multiple columns, that also we can add, like if you want to add any new column, that is how, like on this column number 6 has been added. So likewise, we can add or we can sum up multiple columns. That is all how we create the data frame and perform multiple types of operations. Again, we want to perform data frame, like you have data frame is not defined. I think we have previously some function. Okay, here we need to execute each function to avoid any doubt. Let's re-execute the data frame, and data frame is code 6, and where I left data frame adding row is core 1. It when I need to execute the series for, yeah, so before that data frame score, data frame score 2 score 1. If here, then no, so before that, this is still, where is the data frame? Yeah, I need to try executing that. So before that, this series needs to be executed. So I executed. Now series number 3. What is name? What happened? Okay, yeah, it's correct. So hope you got it. Like in between the whatever the statement we got missed where the value assignment was happening. Because of that, it was not popping up the value, right? So that is how it happens, right? So if I try executing, so we need to execute each statement. If I try executing score 3, it has populated the value score 2, score 1. Let me, then it will pull out these two columns value. It will print. It has printed, and if we score 1 value, I'll try execute it. It is adding a new column to the, that is how, if you want to add a new column, that is how it adds, and here you want to, because after adding the new column, like how does it appear? So that is how, I mean, sorry, no, score 6. This new column is supposed to be added. So here it will not. So we need to add here data frame, and it will sum up this value, and data frame will not be printed here because we need to specifically explicitly specify that. So here below we have specified. Let me show you. Statement number, yeah, data frame, yes, is here if you try executing, because in the df1 where we had assigned the value data frame, and this is the one executed, and in the data frame the value has been assigned is score 6, and it has added the value because this is score 1 and score 2 value has been assigned to score 6. So now if we try executing the data frame, then the next column, I mean the added column values will be presented here, right? So that is how the data frame works. So I just don't want to miss any step, otherwise down the line it will df1, the data frame value has been assigned to df1. So if you try printing df1, then it will print again the same thing, right? So x is equal to 0 if you want to drop the rows, and x is equal to 1 if you want to drop the column, right? So that is how I specify data frame. X is equal to 1 meaning column. So you score one column if I want to drop, then I'll put, and the score one column has been dropped, right? So actually, if you want to drop a column and you put like this, then it will be a kind of, it will not actually delete it. But if you want to actually delete that out, if you again try reprinting the data frame, then it will be giving that column value as well. I mean, score one will not be actually deleted. If you try executing, like if you have worked with a database, then we create on the top of your database, you create view, and then you execute the queries based on view, whatever the columns you want to put, or the values from the column you want to fetch. So accordingly, in the same way, if you want to actually delete the column, if you want to actually don't delete the column, we just keep in buffer, or we just keep in a view form. So if you try executing select queries and all that, then in that case, it will be actually uh, will be available for the select statement and all. Now we like we want to specifically, like in column based on the index, what are the values in the F column, right? So in the F column, whatever the values were there, it has mentioned all the values. So now go for, I was just going for these statements, right? So let me print the data frame first to avoid, like, if any gap is not there. Yeah, so it is printing all the column values, and if I want to print, you want to select the data frame or the values where the values are greater than 0.5, so it will print all the values, and wherever it is not applicable there, NN will be printed. So that is how it worked. And if we have put here, this is the example, like so first it will check in the score 1, if it is 0. What the result it will be printing, like it will check first in the score 1 what are the values are greater than 0.5 in the score 1. Where is, yeah, so in the score 1 we have two values more than 0.5, right, in the score 1. So in the score 1, two values are more than 0.5. So first it will pick both column values, right? Then after that, then we need to pick the score 2 value. Then we need to pick the score 2 value. Then the score 2. So data frame. Let me try executing that. Select score 2 when where score is 0.5. Let me try executing that. So in the data frame, like it has picked the value where the score 1 is 0.5. So actually it is not populating the value from this, it is picking this data frame directly from the above this data frame. Okay, so here we have a few values which are more than, like a B, C, A, B, and G and HI. These are the 4 or 5 values which are more than 0.5, right? So same here, like it is picking up that data frame, the values in the score 1 which is more than 0.5, but it is not going to pick the value from the score 1, it is going to pick the value from the score 2. So all these values from the score 2. Okay, so we have the score 2 values. That's score 2 values AB GHI, right? So it has picked the value from this score, from the score 2 only. It has picked the entire set, entire data set, or entire row. And out of the value in the score 1, where the value was more than 0.5, it has picked that the entire set, and based on that, it has picked only the score 2 value. That is how it worked, right? So it is picked up, and as it is in decimal format, so it has taken the float value, right? So that is how it works. Now we'll be working around. If we want to reset the index, for resetting the index, like data frame, let me try executing that. Resetting the index means it will add 0, 1, 2, 3. This is your entire data frame, and on the top of your index, it will be adding some numerical or integer format for a new index. It will be creating. So other than that, if you want to add some new index values, right? So for adding those values into different rows, we use the split function, and these are the new indexes. So it will be added, and how it will be placed, let me execute data frame, and this new index will be headed by one column name, and it will be headed by the column name as countries. So let me try executing that. So now if I print the data set, I mean the data frame, that will be the country, and with so it has added here. But here again, if we for putting that in the beginning as a header, here it has, so we need to put as a set index, like countries for data. We In order to set the header for the new added index, we have to use this command set index. If we use that, then that new index will be added with the header as countries. So it has added here, and whatever the new index we have added, it has added under the name country, under the head country, right? Hope you got it. Any doubt around? Any doubts around? Mm, okay. So these are the different new indexes, or resetting the index 0, 1, 2. It will be giving an integer format if you want to customize the index as per your own convenience, or as per your name structure, or as per whatever the way you want, right? So you can just add them out, and you can add the header on the top of your index, like how your index column will be referenced or will be addressed. So you can give the header also on the top of your index column. So we have print the data frame. If you try printing the data frame, it will print the same value. uh, and in order to set this country, again we have to set the index. So after setting the index, it will be in order to place that permanently, we have to specify in place equal to true set index. If you do not put in place equal to true, then again it will be added like this. So if you put in place equal to true, it will be permanently added in your data frame. So now if you try printing the data frame, then the countries, I mean the header, and along with that the indexes, it will be printed. So hope you got it, right? Yes, hope you got it. So this is how your different data frame works. You do the different types of manipulation, and this data frame is one of the very important concept in your Python. So every now and then, most frequently used. So just make sure, like more try practice, and practice more and more. As much as the practice you do, so it is going to benefit, or the more confidence you'll be getting, right? And a lot of manipulation, it is not about the syntax, it is more about like how much practice you do, the more confidence you'll be getting, right? So, and now we will be talking about the missing data. When we talk about the missing data in that, Again, we have created one data frame with a different set of values. I will try printing the, let's see, this is the value we have created, and try printing the data frame. Once we create the data frame, in that we have added these, it has given this data frame with the cricket, baseball and tennis, and these are the three headers, the column values, and with the column headers. In that, wherever it doesn't find any value, it will be adding NaN. So adding NaN in the sense like there is no value. And so here the different functions or different steps we can perform in order to remove, in order to play around these columns, right? If you want to drop this, NaN, so how it would do that? Like, by default it will be, uh, by default it will be, axis equal to 0. Axis equal to 0 in the sense like it will be deleting the rows. So if I try executing that, it will be deleting all the rows wherever this NA is found, right? So it has deleted, all these three lines, right? Wherever this NA was there. So it has deleted, right? Drop, meaning it has dropped all those rows wherever this NA or no value found, right? So it is in across the columns, wherever it finds NA, it will be deleting the entire row. So it has deleted, and your entire data set will be, you'll get the clean data. Clean data in the sense you will be getting the actual values, whatever you have in your data frame. So now, if I want to delete the column, if I want to delete and drop the column wherever this NA found, right? So I could X is equal to 1. So if I try executing this, then again it will be executing in your data frame. In two columns you find this NA, right? So it has deleted those two columns, and last column it has kept. So along with the index, it has mentioned only that, where you don't have any null value or NaN is found. So that's, so how to remove the rows and columns, how to play around and with the different null type of values or this NaN parameter. That is what it depicts, right? So now if I try printing the data frame again, if I try printing the data frame, it has printed again those values. Now again, if you want to see, like if you want to drop the values where NaN is found more than 2 times, right? So it will be deleting, um, it will be deleting those columns where uh, this NaN where no data found more than 2 times. So let me try executing this. So it has mentioned, it has consecutive 2 times. It is here in one record. In one record you have a consecutive 2 NaN. So it has deleted that record, and rest record has been already populated, again populated, right? So that is how you can limit the output, or you can play around with the output the way you want. And if filter NA value equal to 0, fill NaN with, like, wherever this null value, if you want to replace NaN with 0, that also you can. So it's very simple that you don't need to remember. You can ever start coding in Python, then automatically, you just in general term, whatever we use, the kind of function name and names are available. So like if you want to replace NaN with 0, then it is going to print fill NA value equal to 0. So it will replace all NaN with 0. If I try printing, data frame has been printed, and all the values wherever NaN was there, it has replaced with 0, right? So that is how it works. Now, if I talk about in the data frame baseball, fill NA value equal to data frame baseball dot mean, and fill baseball column with its mean, meaning you have one column and it will be finding out the mean of the column, right? And fill value equal to fill wherever NA, fill NA, whatever the value would be there in NA, it will fill with the mean of the column, right? So let me try executing this. So 0 1 wherever in the column you have baseball, wherever in the column you have baseball. Let me go to where is that baseball? Yeah. So in the baseball column, wherever you have this NaN, right? It will replace NaN with the mean of the actual column. So the mean of this column, and the mean of this column is mean, you are aware, right? Like average. So it will find out this baseball column mean, and it will replace the NaN value with mean. So it will display only that. So 5 4 4 4.6 4.6 is the mean of that particular column. So it has displayed, we have specifically already explicitly mentioned, like in the baseball column needs to be displayed. So along with the index, only that column value would be displayed here, right? So that is how, if you want to fetch based on based on mean, you want to represent the, I mean, you want to fetch the record, or based on mean you want to perform some kind of operations, that also uh, you can perform your all the requirement accordingly, or you can play with the data around. So now we have part 4. In that, we have a group by function. Hope you're already aware with the group by. If you have worked in database we have something called group by. Group by, in the sense, in ideal scenario, what is the meaning of the good group by? Like if you have multiple columns and you want to fetch the record on basis of particular column, right? So that is called group by. So that is how group by works. So here we have let's print the data data frame first. Okay, so these are the different values. Let me data frame and data frame. We will try printing that. It has printed all these values. Now the customer ID, and the customer ID, customer name, and profit in lakhs. So we can now use the group by method to group rows together based on a column name. So we have a 3 columns names, right? Column names, right? Customer ID, customer name, and profit in lakhs. So based on the customer ID, we can just group the column values, and accordingly it will provide the result, and we can perform certain operations, right? So group by meaning data, data frame, how does it work? Data frame dot group by, and we specify the column name. So we are specifying the column name. Column name is um, this customer ID, right? So customer ID, we have unique values 1001, 1001. These are the duplicate values, so it will get sum up. Sum up in the sense it will group the records accordingly. So 101, 1002, 1003, likewise it will club together and will it will group the data, and whatever the function you want to execute, it will execute, right? So if you want to execute these functions like data group by customer ID and customer ID grouped, and so directly you cannot print the data, meaning it is showing like we can use some aggregate variable instead of that. So whenever the data will be grouped, you can just find out the mean of that. So data will be grouped like 1011, 102, 103, likewise it has been grouped, and after that you can perform any aggregate function on this. So here we have performed the mean. So if you perform the mean of on group by, then it will be giving the value like this, like 1001 this one, 1002 this one, 1003 this one, meaning it has grouped the data, and after that it has found out the mean of those values, right? So that is how it works. So data frame group by dot mean, group by dot mean. So it has just group by the data based on the customer ID, and it find out the mean of that, meaning average, right? If we want to find out the standard deviation, how do we do that? Again, in the same way, like instead of mean, it will be finding out the standard deviation, right? If you want to find the minimum values in this column, right? So how do you find that? So in this column, like based on the group by in 1011, if you have multiple values across for each category, 101 for each we can say head or something. So for 1011, out of 2 values, you would be having instead, like, let me show you here. You have 5, 6 values, right? Yeah. 101 when you have 256 values. So 2005 3245. Out of that, the minimum value is 2005. If we find out the max value or the max aggregate function, then it is going to display 3245. If you put minimum, then 2005. Likewise, it's going to print the values, right? So that is how it works, like the minimum value, the maximum value. And then we talk about this is how customer ID, minimum value, and then we go for data frame. And so we have printed the data frame, and again it has put the values, like it has put the values, and again we want to perform certain other aggregate function, like count, describe, and all. Count will be giving the count, how it is gonna give. See, 1001 having two values, 1002 having two, and 1003 is having two values, right? So likewise, it will be giving the count. And now grouped describe. It is one of the most important feature of data frame, you can say, or in Python. Like it is the most usable function. It will be giving the in and out of your value, right? So whatever the value which has been grouped, it will be giving the mean, standard deviation, or it will be giving all the details or the quick statistics of your column, or whatever the value you are performing, on which you are performing this analysis, right? So in Python, or we look for this function basically most of the time, because for quick analysis or quick stats, we use this function so frequently. So it's highly usable, and artificial intelligence and data science, it is highly usable. So just make sure you do more and more practice. So that is how it works. And data frame, we talk about and describe, it has added. So in the same way, like if I talk about the describe, again it will be giving the same value for all the three, and it is added, right? So now the most important feature here we have, that is called if we have a data which is a transpose. I mean, for like in Excel, we have a transpose, like putting the data into rows to column and column into rows. So that is how one more function we have, putting the data across rows into columns, column into rows, and it will be printed here like this. So count, and that is how it works, rows and columns. So it has just added the value and put the data into rows and columns likewise. So that is how it works. Like if hope it might have helped you, and let's connect in my next session for discussing all these merging, joining, and concatenating all these features in my next session. And if you haven't subscribed my channel, if you like my video, kindly subscribe my channel. And personally, you can also personally connect with me. You can just drop an email. You can put your doubts in comment section. I will be happy to help you out, or I will be happy to answer your queries, right? So thank you very much. Stay connected, and see you in my next session. Thank you.